spending time with her husband, friends, family, including her 12 grandchildren. In her spare time, she connects and celebrates with the women involved in motorsports, taking you behind the wall about their journey of life, racing, and how they juggle everything to make it all work. Welcome to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Strap in, window nets up, the pedals are down, and when the green flag drops, we go.
Everyone, this is Melinda Russell with Racing Girls Rock Podcast, and my guest today is Valerie Thompson. And Valerie has a very interesting racing story, and the things that she's done in racing compared to no other woman that I know. And so I'm excited for her to tell you her story and for us to learn a little bit more about her. So Valerie, why don't you start by just sharing a little bit about yourself, your family, whatever you're comfortable sharing. And then I'd like to hear your racing story. How did you get started in motorsports?
Perfect. I can start from the top, but if you had an hour and a bottle of wine, I could share everything.
Okay, we have all the time.
In a nutshell, I am born and raised in Tacoma, Washington, and I have fairly a big family I came from, and I have 4 brothers, a sister, and we're all in all different locations, but I moved to Arizona in 2004 only because I wanted to ride my motorcycle full time. And I just wanted to be somewhere that was warm and people were so, healthy and fit, and the sun was just gleaming. And even though it's really hot, but it's only it's a dry heat, and it's only for like 3-4 months out of the year. So that's my born and raised Tacoma, Washington, live currently in Scottsdale, Arizona. So that's where I am now.
Yeah. And so we connected several months ago, and actually we were going to get together when I was in Arizona, but between COVID and everything, we just didn't have a chance to do that. So we will do that this fall when I'm there, but at least we were able to connect today on here, because I want people to hear about you and about all the things that you've accomplished. So a beautiful young woman like you, how did you get involved in racing motorsports?
Well, it all stemmed from being a little bit out of control and using the throttle, not the brake, too much on this hand. And I was told I was a little bit out of control, that I should take it to the track. After feeling about 2 inches tall after that comment, it was the best comment and the best thing that's ever happened to me. Because I was a little shy still at that time, and I was feeling like I was just riding to keep up with everyone else. I never liked to ride in the back, and I always liked to ride in the front, and that's where all the action happened. So that's when everybody got to go fast and being out of control. It wasn't from a police officer, it was actually from a friend, and we took it to the track. And I have to say I never left. I fell in love with the drag strip. I used to drag race motorcycles, and in between drag racing, I started racing at Bonneville as well.
Right. And so how old were you when you started actually racing?
I was 38 years old when I started racing. So, I'm probably the living proof of it doesn't matter what age you are, you can still, go after things, go for a new career, chase a new career. If you've got the passion, for a great throttle that goes fast, I guess that you can do anything. It doesn't matter motorcycles or, being an attorney or a doctor or whatever you want to do with your life. Age, there's no limit. Speed has no limit.
That's right. And it's nice to hear that you started a little later than most, because some people would think, oh, that's retirement age for a motorcycle racer. And it's really not. It's about how good your condition is. It's about your mindset. and your equipment, and so
Yeah.
I love.
And the people you surround yourself with,
Right.
that's the biggest, one of my best advice is, to surround yourself with the right people. There's a partnership for that. And when you got the right people on your side, you both and all can accomplish anything you want.
Yeah, because you've got that encouragement. So it's the positivity behind you
It took me
instead
a
of
long time to learn all that because I learned the hard way, let me tell you.
I mean, sometimes it takes the hard lessons for us to
And it's
learn
okay because
the.
I always knew that the road is not straight. There is some bends in the road, and that applies for everything in life, everything that you do. It's not all easy and straightforward.
No, it's not. So how did you transition from racing to Bonneville? Because that's a huge difference. And I mean,
It-
the speeds on the drag strip are high enough, much
yeah,
less at Bonneville. And I know you hold some records. So why don't
yes.
you share how what happened? Who suggested you go to Bonneville, and the equipment would have to be all different. How did all that work out?
Well, that worked out. We were talked into going to Bonneville from one of my sponsors, Legend Air Ride Suspension, based in right by on the outskirts of Sturgis, South Dakota. And his name is Jesse Jurens, and he was the owner of Legend Air Ride Suspension. If you are a woman that is not able to touch their toes on the ground, they're great. It's a great piece of equipment, but it also looks really cool when you can touch. What the suspension does, it goes up and down, for your riding comfort, for even going on long rides. So he was the one that said, hey, if I bring my custom bike out, will you race it at Bonneville? And by the way, bring your turbo V-Rod out there too, and we could get some pictures, and you can see how fast you can go compared to the drag strip. And so we did, and that's really how it started, to be in Bonneville. And I really literally tried to come up with every excuse that I could of not to go to Bonneville, because I was so afraid of racing on a different type of texture surface. I picture the Bonneville as like snow in my hometown of Washington. It's all compact, it's slick, and hey, if I turn a certain way with my tire, I might probably pinch me right off. So I got thinking, oh, I'm sick, I'm not feeling good. Oh, I couldn't do that. So I just went for it. And it was probably the best decision I probably ever made, because it was an easy transition. When you're on the drag strip, you go fast, and there's a lot of other things that are so important. You got the tree, the timing lights, and you can't be too early, and you sure can't be too late. And then there's the gears that you shift through, and then the finish line is the best, funnest place to be, and to stop safe and sound. But I wanted more. I wanted to go faster, and a quarter mile is great and it's fun and it's fast, but I wanted to go faster and longer. My thrill, I needed to be there for a little longer.
So what was the fastest you ever did in mile per hour on the drag strip? So we can
On the
compare
drag
that to
strip, it was about 190 miles per hour in the quarter mile, 7:06 seconds, I believe it, 7.06
okay.
seconds. So that was the best I've ever achieved in my drag strip career. I tried several times to re-equate myself to go back to the drag strip. But my heart is really at Bonneville, and my heart is really just going super fast. And I couldn't pick up where I left off from when I was drag racing. And I guess maybe my mental brain, my mental focus, everything about racing on the drag strip just didn't work out for me. But God has a plan for everything, and I am there to shine on the racetrack at the Bonneville Salt Flats.
Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about like when you go there, is that once a year? When do you go? Who else is there? Like what other kinds are there cars there at the same time? Is it just motorcycles? It's someplace my husband and I have talked about we'd love to visit.
Yeah.
So tell me about that experience. Like, what's that look like when you go there?
Well, the Bonneville is always usually around the same time every year for the past 60 years. And there's a Speed Week, which kicks off the events. Speed Week is really our hugest race. And that's a mixture of cars, trucks, motorcycles, three-wheelers, everything that has wheels will probably go to Speed Week. And it's open to the public, and you can, hang out in people's pits. You can go by and chat with them because they're all really friendly. They want to show off what they've been, working on for, 15 years, 10 years, 5 years, 1 year. They want to talk. They want to let you in on what they've done. So the Speed Week is a great one to be at, for those people that don't know anything about racing with the Salt Flats, because you get a mixture of both. And then they have other multiple events after that. And then we have the Bonneville Motorcycle Speed Trials, which is a motorcycle event only. So if you're a true motorcycle and you don't care about the four wheels, then you go to the Bonneville Motorcycle Speed Trial. And that's always at the end of August.
Okay.
And then we have a couple more events after that, but they're all open to the public, and everyone and anyone is all welcomed. And it's a great time to let our beautiful 2 wheels, 4 wheels shine on the racetrack and go as fast as our hearts will let us.
Yeah, that sounds amazing. I know my husband would get a big charge out of that for sure, and I would too. So, what year did you first go to Bonneville?
I went to Bonneville in 2005 is my first year in Bonneville. And at the time at the Bonneville Motorcycle Speed Trials, there was only 3 of us ladies. I don't know how many the men were there, but I wasn't counting them. I was just counting us ladies. But we have a picture with all 3 ladies of when we first started racing at that event. And that was pretty special to be one of the top 3. And we're all top riders too. So we're still out there racing. And Erin Hunter Seal, she's an incredible racer as well. And Belvine, she's great. And then there's myself. So yeah, we're at the top of our careers right now.
Yeah, that's pretty fun because it's a very select number of women. And
yes,
yeah,
it takes very special women and men to do this.
Oh yeah.
It's not easy.
No, I know. And I'd be scared to death. So I couldn't do it, but I would love to watch it. So you've been going back, I assume, every year since 2005.
Yeah, I've missed a couple of years in between. I know I missed like 2008, but I had other things that were going on as well. And that was in the drag racing world. And then I think I missed 2011, and that's probably another one after my little hiccup with that motorcycle crash I had.
Yeah. So do you want to share about that? Because people maybe don't follow you or didn't know who you were. Yeah. Are you willing to share about what happened?
Absolutely. If you don't talk about it, and, talking about something that didn't turn out well, that's just the best form of, of me talking about it. It's just great, so, I am proud of, the outcome came. I'm proud of my race team. But we traveled to Australia in 2018 to, our attempt was to break the world record, which is the fastest motorcycle record, and the only record is 376 miles per hour. And a couple of days before I had crashed, I went 328 miles per hour. And that was a really hairy ride anyways. There's a lot of things that kind of happened in the cockpit that I wasn't really ready for, but I was only on 3 cylinders, and I was only in third gear, and I still went 328 miles per hour. So the next attempt that we did was the next 2 days, and that one didn't turn out so well. I did crash at 363 miles per hour at the DRLA Speed Week competition. And I don't remember a lot that happened inside the cockpit, but I do remember coming sliding for about a mile, and I said to myself, if I can wiggle my toes and my fingers, I'm okay. I can get out of this thing. I wanted to see what happened to the bike. I wanted to see, is it raceable again? Can we get back on, and can we get back and do it? But unfortunately, I wasn't able to get out so quick. And when I realized that something drastically happened, I said, I just better be careful and just relax and let the professional people take care of me.
Yes, exactly. So what were your injuries like?
Well, my injuries, I did walk away with some bruises. I had a nice big cut on my leg. I have a big broken heart from it, just like every team member has. And later I started having knee problems.
Yeah.
So I'm getting a handle on all that. And thanks to my doctor, Richard Jacoby, he's given me some great Wharton's jelly injections. And it's like a stem cell injection. So I've been doing that treatment and some laser treatment just to follow up. And because I've really taken my new career and my workout career to the next level. So I can, when I go back into that Bub 7 motorcycle streamliner, I'll be able to match my performance, to the performance of the motorcycle. So I had to step up my game. I had to get some muscles.
There you go. So have you been in the motorcycle since then? Have you been on it? Have you tried, what have you done since your accident as far as racing or anything?
Well, what I have been doing, I'm not letting that accident get me down whatsoever. I'm willing to I've been picking up the pieces and, putting them back together one at a time. And I have picked up a couple of race teams that I do race for. And I actually switched from 2 wheels to 4 wheels, and I had the opportunity to be the pilot of the Target 550 car streamliner, which that record is 415 miles per hour. And so I actually got to test in it. I've tested in it like 3-4 times. I had a chance to blow up 2 engines. They repaired them, and we shipped the car back to Australia, where I did crash. And it's been sitting there ever since the COVID-19 hit us in March in 2019. So I've missed 2 events to race, and 2 years, two events, 2 years at the chance of being the fastest in that class of 415 miles per hour. I have a great support team with the 4 wheels as well. But right now we don't know what our next plan is. Are we gonna go back out there next year? Nobody knows as of right now.
Right.
And then I started racing for Turbo Tiger for Angus and Phil Johnson. So I'm back on a sit-on bike. It's a Kawasaki Turbo Kawasaki. And I've been having a lot of fun with the team and the bike. And I've set 2 new records with that bike. Went 201 miles per hour in the half mile. And I did a record of 218 miles per hour as well. So, and that was at the Arkansas Mile. And it was really great getting back on the sit-on bike, because I know I haven't lost the feeling. And my husband said when I left the starting line, he goes, "Yep, she still has it."
Yeah.
I'm saying, yep, for a 50-year-old, I got it. I got this, don't worry.
So let me ask you, how does your family feel about you going that fast?
Well, that's something probably that's not their favorite to talk about, but my mom, when she was alive, she really enjoyed my racing career. She would actually come to some of my events, my drag racing events. She never made it to Bonneville. And so, my brothers, my sisters, they're all like, yep, two thumbs up, but dad, he is not so much a huge fan of speed, but I know he's got some speed in his heart, I know he likes it to some degree.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And
But
honestly, it's a little bit addicting, isn't it? I mean, to go watch
yeah,
any kind of racing, it can be addicting. You just have to watch. You can't miss going
yeah,
and doing that. So it's interesting that you mentioned the Arkansas Mile. Is
uh-huh,
that what so I have a
yes,
young friend named TK Boyd. You'll have
uh-huh,
to Google her because she just set a record at the Arkansas Mile for her class. And
yeah.
she's maybe, I want to say maybe 13, 14 years old.
My
And
gosh, she's
yeah, and she's in a
her and I need
little,
to talk.
yeah, I want you to Google her. I'll try to connect you when we get off the podcast. I've known TK for about 4 years, and she
Yeah,
was racing little sprint cars. And a friend of mine went to high school with her dad and
yeah,
connected her dad and I. And so she and her dad became like family to me. And then
yeah,
she was racing these little sprint cars. And then she's had the opportunity through some connections to do the land speed things.
yeah.
And she's been at the Arkansas Mile, and she just posted a picture of her certificate where she
Yeah,
went.
I did too.
Yeah,
Yes,
and
we
it
all got our
was,
certificates.
yeah,
That's
so
awesome.
that's really fun. And I had not heard of the Arkansas Mile until this week when I saw
Mhm.
that she had done that, and then you just mentioned it. So that's really interesting.
Yeah, so
um
we're there at the same time, I bet,
I
because
bet
we
you
all
might
got
have
our
been.
certificates, and just recently, probably I think last week is when I got mine. So
Yeah. Yeah. So I bet you might have been there at the same time, which would have been very interesting. But um, so what is it about going really fast or being involved? What is it that you absolutely love? I know you love the speed, but what else about it keeps you going back, even after you had an accident and that it just keeps drawing you back? What is it?
well, I have a once in a lifetime opportunity to be the fastest. And, that's one thing. But having the opportunity to have a race team of 16 to 18 members, and we all come from all different makes and models. And, just the association with probably my team is one of the best feelings. Like I said, surround yourself with all the right people in your life, and they make me shine. They make me look like I have the easy job, but they have the hardest job. They're all dedicated. They all do this, on their free time. They've been doing it for years. And we lost one of our guys, not due to COVID, but losing him really made me think, why do I want to do this? Why do I do this? And it's really for them.
Mhm.
They're so important in my life. I get teary.
I know. Well,
They're
I
so
feel,
important in my life. They're like my family.
yeah,
And I want to do this for them.
yeah,
Do I want to do it for myself? Of course, I'm not going to be, I'm
right,
greedy, but
right.
I do it for them. So
Yeah. That's really special. And I love that you get a little teary-eyed because that just shows the heart that you have for them, and
yeah,
that you appreciate them and acknowledge what they do. And you are the first one to say you can't do it without them. And so, you know, you say team, it really is a team, and it's a
yeah,
family team. And
they're so important to every aspect, even on the track, off the track. I mean, they're amazing. They're just
yeah.
all so important. So
And so the people that are on your team, why don't you tell me a little bit about them? Like what what do they do exactly and where do they live? Do they all live all over the place? And
yeah, they actually live all over the place. Majority of them live in Grass Valley, California. There's a few of our other of our teammates that actually live out of state, like our photographer, Lou Fisher, he's out of town. We got the son of Dennis. He's a Dennis Manning, he's the builder, the designer. And he's a few hours away from his dad, but pretty much they all are in some location of California.
okay. All
And
right.
then they're right over here in the hot weather of 117 degrees.
I know. So my two daughters live out there. One
Uh-huh.
lives Phoenix, but it's very close to Scottsdale. The other one lives in Glendale. And I always watch the temperature and I saw you're having a real heat wave for sure.
Yes, we're supposed to get all the way up to 118 degrees. And I have to honestly say, I don't remember it being ever that hot.
And it's only June. You don't think about it being that hot
June, yes.
right
I
now.
know.
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm back in Michigan for the summer.
I bet you are. I knew there was a reason why you went home. You
Exactly.
snowbird, you.
Yeah, exactly. I'm one of those for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
So what kind of a legacy do you want to leave when you're all done and you look back and what do you want people to say about Valerie and what she left what's your mark going to be on racing?
Being the first to do anything is actually really super important to me. I'm not afraid of being a beginner, even though I'm a professional. um, my legacy, I would have to be about, the taking chances and really, I don't know. And I got so many naysayers and doubters, and just to rise above all of those people is probably, it's not my legacy, but, to say I did it, and where you said I couldn't do it.
Mhm.
I guess that's more of a personal thing for me, but the legacy is, being the first to do the 300 mph, being the first to break the world record of 376 miles per hour and taking it away from Mr. Lovely Rocky Robinson after 10, 11 years.
Yeah.
It's the women's now that the women are really starting to really shine. And this is my time to shine, right along with all the other beautiful women out there. And so,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna
I
be.
guess I look at you and what you've done, and I think you've broken through for other young girls or women behind you to say, you inspired them and they follow what you've done. And if you can do that, then they have a chance to do that. And to me, that would be maybe what your legacy is that somebody has to be first and kind of break through
Yeah.
the barriers. And I
Mhm.
see you as that person. And then, like I said, the younger ones coming behind you are going to say, she was my hero. She was the person that got us started. And so here's where I am today because of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is, when I first started racing, I never had a mentor. I never had anybody that I looked up to. I didn't know anybody in the racing world. I don't have family, and I don't have any friends, well, at the time, that really went fast or, raced four wheels or two wheels. And, so I was always searching for somebody to tag along with, hey, can you put me under your wing? Steer me in the right way. And I just couldn't find that right person, and I didn't have that. So, I was looking for that hero out there that would inspire me. And I guess I just wasn't looking in the right places, but I guess too, it really just made me realize that I need to create my own. I'm a hero. I need to be a hero. I need to inspire. I don't need to inspire, but the inspiration comes naturally. They go hand in hand with what I do. Um, and, just, when you find somebody you really are attached to, um, just really make sure, you seek that person
Right.
out, reach out to them, and tell them I need this in my life.
Yeah.
And hopefully they'll respond back to you and
Yeah,
give you.
and I would think so. So I know you're a record holder, so why don't you share what's the fastest you've gone? What's the record? And any other records that you hold? Let's share about those.
All right, so we'll start with that. I have 10 land speed records, and on various different motorcycles, and I would love to have a couple of more under my belt. But we'll just settle for 10 because 10 is a really good number. I don't want 20, I don't want 50. I want really, really good ones that I really can remember all the numbers.
Yeah, exactly.
But my top speed record is 328 miles per hour. And another proud moment that that I would like to share is that I'm also a Sturgis Hall of Fame member.
Mhm.
And Jesse Jurens, the gentleman that I talked about to you earlier, about the legendary ride suspension, I started with him, and he's the one that put my name on the hat for the Hall of Fame, and they all agreed. So pretty cool. That's a pretty good, nice little, I love my hat.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love being a member with the rest of the most amazing two-wheeler, people out there. I mean, they're from bike builders to, painters to you name it, and two wheels, the industry, they're out there. So, and I belong to 8 200-mile-per-hour club memberships, and I belong to 1 300-mile-per-hour. So being a member of the mile per hour club, like the 200, the 300, the 400, is like Tiger Woods' green jacket. I don't have a green jacket, but I got a green screen behind me.
Yeah.
But I got 10 records. So that's what that's like, to be, a membership, and nobody can take it away from you.
No.
Nobody can take it. Somebody can steal your record, and because records are, meant to be broken and borrowed. They're all borrowed records, and I've been borrowing Rocky's. I've been watching Rocky's Robinson, his record, but our team has a lot of work ahead of us in order to get back up to our speeds that we were reaching before. So he's got some enjoyment time for that record.
Exactly. So what are your plans for the future? Like where are you at? When are you going to try this again? Or do you have any idea yet?
Yes. So we've been rebuilding that motorcycle, and my team has been working so hard on their off, time, and they've been, helping putting this thing back together. It is getting really, really close, but we're still so far away. However, we plan to run this Bub 7 Streamliner at the Motorcycle Speed Trials August 28th. And we would like to do a private test session before that, because we're gonna have to start from scratch. I'm gonna get in the bike, and I'm gonna be pulled with a tow rope, with no power, just controlling the bike. It's whatever about riding on a motorcycle. All that information, you take that and throw it away for a minute. Mm-hmm. You have to start over. And the racing in the Bub 7 is a very difficult, it's very difficult to do. First of all, you're using 2 York joysticks to balance 25 feet long of equipment, plus, 1,600 pounds. And you can't lean, into the wind, because you don't feel the wind. You don't know the wind's coming. and you're so strapped into that motorcycle that there's no room to wiggle.
Yeah.
So you can't lean if you think you're going to go one way. You have to use your visualization to watch the where you're going in front of you, and you have to use your hands to steer with. So I
Right.
use a foot pedal for my throttle, and then I steer with 2 joysticks on each side of me.
Okay. Yeah, that would be, I can't imagine doing that. I'm sitting here thinking that would be difficult.
Well, for
Yeah.
you and for your listeners, it would be like taking a broomstick and putting the broomstick on the palm of your hand and juggling it. And that's how you go with the opposite way. And so that's how I steer. So
That's pretty interesting. Yeah, I never knew that. Wow.
yeah, Dennis tells me get my stick out.
At least they're not accusing you of riding it, right? That would be worse.
I don't want that.
No.
They like me because I clean their trailer with the broom. So
There you go. There you go. Much better. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So if when you go to these events, or even when you were drag racing and someone came up to you with their little girl or their teenage daughter or whoever it might be, and asked you if this is a good thing for a woman to get into, what would you say?
Well, first I would tell her, hey, follow your dreams. You never say, never accept no for an answer. Yes is always yes. Yes is always a no in my book. But I would tell her never, to go with what she wants to do. If this is something that she wants to do, just be prepared for, the long, hard hours and the work, the struggles, the ups, the downs. But, and all the sacrifices. But it is such a great time, for us little girls, for us adults to educate these little, newbies that are coming up. And it's like, giving them water and, watching them grow.
Yeah.
In my case, it'd be giving them gasoline and watching them go fast.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, that's, it's all about following your dreams. And if you're passionate about something, you got to keep going for it,
Yeah.
never give up. So
are there other women still, like when you go in August, will there be other women there? And has that number
Absolutely.
increased?
It's definitely increased over time. It started to kind of trickle off a little bit, but we're out there. We're still, doesn't matter how fast and how slow a woman goes, out there, they're just there and they are having the greatest time of their life. So that's what is really important. It doesn't matter how fast you go. It doesn't matter that you're the fastest, but it does on paper, but it doesn't when you're out there and we're all in our uniforms. We all wear a uniform. We all wear gloves. We all wear shoes and a helmet. So,
yeah. Well, I'm excited to keep my eye on what you're up to. And wow, if I could get there in August, I would love to come. I think
we would put you to work.
Yeah, you would put me to work for sure, because I just think that would be just something that you should be on my bucket list. I have things on my bucket list, like the Indy 500. I haven't done that yet, and some different things. And my husband is a big motorcycle racing fan. I mean, we both are. And he wants to go to the Isle of Man. He wants to go to Ireland and see the Isle of Man race. Although, as I'm sure you're familiar with it, they go zip past you and then they're gone.
Crazy.
You can see it on TV so much better, but
that's what I say too. I say that too.
Yeah.
The other thing I didn't share with you is my new what I started to do in between my racing career is I wanted to share that too.
Absolutely.
I what started out as being a part of my fitness regimen, playing pickleball for fun and with my friends, has now turned into a profession that I want to start doing more full time. in between my racing, of course, because, there's dates that are out there for racing, and that's for racing. But I really want to be that pickleball over 50 in that category. I really want to take it farther and farther and go farther into it. I started to play with my friends in last February, and I fell in love with, the sport. It's fast. It has a lot of resemblance of racing, and the mental aspect of playing pickleball, and, the enjoyment with meeting new people. And every time I mention pickleball, everybody goes, "Oh, I play pickleball." And that's how some of my friends that I'm now reacquainted with, that I haven't been acquainted with in a while, that we all came back and we all started back to where we used to be, because now we play pickleball.
So
And now
that's very interesting, and you're gonna love this. And when we get together in Arizona, you're gonna have to come and see me at my RV park, because pickleball is one of the biggest things there. And so when my husband and I went over to the new park that we went to, where we're going to be next year, is in Surprise. And the first people that we met were at the pool, like the first night we were there. And it turns out they used to live in Battle Creek, Michigan, which is 20 minutes from me. And here we are all in Arizona. And now they live, I believe, in Washington State, I think is where they live. But they travel, they have their RV, and they're huge pickleball players. And they go to all these pickleball tournaments. Like, they're really big into it. And there's another lady at our park that is like, she wins. She's like a big deal in the pickleball world. And I don't know who she is, but my husband and I have never played, but I did buy the paddles and the balls, so that we're going to learn how to play, because we both need the exercise. And my friends, Gail and Steve, are going to actually be in Arizona at the same RV park. They live here. In fact, this is where we're staying, is their apartment. They're going to be 2 blocks from us in the RV park, and they play pickleball. So I'm kind of counting on them to teach us how to do that. So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because prior to this fall and winter, I mean, I'd heard of pickleball, but I didn't really know what it was. And didn't know they had tournaments and all over the place. So
yes, a lot of the racers are like, "Did you see what Valerie's doing now? She's playing pickleball." Do you know what pickleball is? That's their second question. They're all scratch their head. No, let's Google it. So it's like, I love it so much that a couple of my friends said, "Valerie, you should build a pickleball court in your backyard." And that's what happened. We built it. We had a pickleball court built in our backyard this past April, and we were able to play on it about 45 days later. So we've been playing actively. I now have a proud owner of about 5 paddles, about 250 balls, a ball machine, and I have a personal instructor, Jack Thomas, which he's amazing. He lives here in Arizona. And I've been to 2 pickleball schools, not schools, but camps, for a 3-day camp. Drove all the way out to St. George, Utah. And then my husband came with me on the second pickleball camp, and we went to Salt Lake City. So I'm trying to get him, into it, but he's got to work for his day job, because he really supports the whole household.
Yeah.
So this is why I get to go play pickleball, because he enjoys, working, and he enjoys, my pickleball, and everything's pickleball. I just downloaded emoji apps for pickleball.
Okay, very cool.
But it's really neat, because I can do racing. I don't give up racing. And I always said, I want to retire at 400. Well, I still do, but it's been a great crossover. Like I said, it's the world's fastest growing sport. And when it's ready to play in the Olympics, hopefully I can be there, because I've always dreamt about being in the Olympics.
Wouldn't that be fun?
I've always wanted to be an ice skater once before, and I wanted to go to the Olympics, and that just never happened. But maybe one day. But pickleball is definitely helped my fitness. I've
Right.
lost some weight. I'm gaining muscle. It's making me fast on the court,
Mhm.
you know, and it goes right hand in hand with the world's fastest female on two wheels. Well, the
Absolutely.
world's fastest female on 2 feet now. Now,
Exactly.
if I
The
just get my
world's
knees and my
fastest
elbows
pickleball
right,
player. Yeah.
I want to be the champ on the court and on the racetrack. So
I'm with you there, and I'm going to be your biggest fan behind you, cheering you on, because I'd love to see that happen for you. I think that would be amazing.
I actually have my very first photo shoot for pickleball, and USA Pickleball Association. We've been communicating, and they're going to put me on the front cover of their pickleball magazine in August when we're at the Bonneville Salt Flats. So
Nice.
I mean, it's like in a perfect world. I mean, how could you time it any better? Come
Right.
to the Bonneville Salt Flats. I'm inviting all your fans, all your listeners, and we can build a pickleball court out there. So we got a net, we got a ball, and we got paddles, and we can spray on some paint spray that we use even for our pits, and
Yeah.
it won't affect the earth. It won't affect the salt. It's biodegradable, and it's all safe for us to use out there. So
That's
hopefully we
very
can make a
cool.
little pickleball court. If not, we'll just be bouncing some balls off my trailer.
There you
Just
go.
don't-
There you
Just
go.
don't hit my head.
Well, you know what? I love how those go together, the racing and the pickleball, because it is supposed to be really good for you and keep you in shape. And that's the reason that I really wanted, for us in the winter to get started in it. We didn't really get a chance when we were out there to do it, but we're going to do that this fall and winter when we're there. So I'm excited about that. But now I'm going to connect you to my buddy who's into
Yes.
pickleball. So now I've got two connections that I'm going to make for you, Valerie. So
Thank you. Now, also with the pickleball and the racing, and for being at the age that I am, this shows everyone, and I don't really have to show anybody, I just have to show myself, or I just have to do it for myself. But this is why age doesn't have a limit. There's no retirement at 38 years old to race motorcycles. There's no limit on your age. And I'm 53 years old, and I'm taking up pickleball. So you can do anything at any age.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gives us a nice rebirth and regrowth for my racing career, because now I get to talk about two things.
Well, and
and racing.
Yeah, and it just gives you one more thing to have a passion about and be interested in, and I absolutely love it. I've really enjoyed talking to you today, Valerie. So is there anything else that you would love to share about, or that I haven't asked you about, that we should talk about?
Yeah, I heard from a little birdie that our movie, we have a movie that's coming out. We don't know when it will be out, but I think it's getting a little close to having some good traction. So everybody needs to go to my website, ValerieThompsonRacing.com, check out our movie trailer, and go to my social media platform buttons to click on, so you can, watch the progression of the movie. But this movie is going to be like the world's fastest Indian. And I promise you, you're going to want a box of Kleenex to bring with you at this movie documentary, because there will not be a dry eye that will leave that theater. So be on the lookout for our movie documentary. And
do you know what the name of it's going to be yet?
Well, they say it's Rockets and Titans, but you know how movie stuff changes, and it flexes, and it it grows muscles here and there.
Yeah.
So as of right now, it's still called Rockets and Titans, but
okay. All right, I'm going to be watching for that, and I know you'll let me know when that comes out so that we can.
And go to my website and buy my t-shirts.
Okay. All right, there you go. Oh, cool. Very nice.
Gotta support the girl over here. We gotta go fast. We need food money, and we need money for the team to put them up in the hotel. So
yes, absolutely.
Every t-shirt goes right to my racing. So
okay. All right, sounds good. So I love those shirts. That's a very cool shirt. So everybody needs to get a Valerie Thompson Racing shirt. Help her reach her dreams of being in the 400 club. We want to see that happen. And I've been kind of following you behind the scenes and and so I'm gonna keep my eye on you, what you're up to and what you're doing, and hopefully maybe I can figure out a way to come and see the speed trials and that, because I just think that, and I know my husband would just love it.
We would love to have you there. So if you would like, we'll get you squared away. So
all right, sounds good. Well, Valerie, I've really enjoyed this. We've had quite a time getting together, but we finally managed to find a day and time that we could both figure it out. And the time change, we're 3 hours apart, and we figured it out. And I've really enjoyed talking with you today and hearing your story. And I know my listeners are going to love listening to it as well. So any final words that you'd like to share?
I appreciate you, being patient with me, and, I guess the final words, getting together, meaning, and the final words would just be, like, whoever needs to hear this, do not be afraid of being a beginner. Stay you, be you, stay humble, enjoy every moment, and be safe out there. So that's my final word. Be safe, be humble, and be you. So
that's awesome. Well, Valerie, I hope to meet you in person very soon. And thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Racing Girls Rock Podcast. Follow us on Facebook at International Women's Motorsports Association, or on Instagram and Twitter at the IWMA Nation. And if you know someone that should be on our show, drop us an email at iwmanation@gmail.com.